tack stands instead of energy recharge. For levels, she's a DPS, so you want 90 here if you can. If you're running EM Raiden, it's an absolute must. And because she's scaled off of raw stats, eventually 90 is something you do want to do. You do want to crown her burst if you're going to be running her as a DPS, and you can get away with leaving her skill at level 9 as its damage isn't that impactful, and the buff actually caps out at level 9, so she doesn't give extra burst damage past level 9, which is really interesting. So it's a good way to save resources to leave her burst or to leave her skill at level 9 and focus on crowning her burst, and you can just ignore her normals. There's only very specific teams they'll ever use a normal attack in. For weapons, obviously her signature is her best in slot, especially when you consider just the comfort overall and the drip. Very, very good. But she does make use from most 5-star weapons, whether it be the Staff of Homas, the Jadewing Spear she uses pretty well. Any weapon that gives crit stats is pretty good on her. If you happen to have a high refined Wavebreaker's Fin, that's good. But the thing is, if you don't have her signature, you kind of just might as well go for the catch, as you'll probably need the ER. And if for some reason you really don't need ER, the deathmatch is good. Really unsung hero weapon though is the Skyward Spine, which I still don't have a copy of, but if you do, then you can actually use it even over the catch, as if you play your cards right, you can get a little extra cheeky normal attack or two due to the extra attack speed, and the higher base attack is nice if you're playing without Bennett. So basically I would say your overall weapon ranking, all those ones I mentioned are good. It's going to be Engulfing Lightning number 1, Skyward Spine number 2, catch number 3, Wavebreaker's Fin at R5 number 4, and then the deathmatch at number 5, with the deathmatch sometimes working even better than some of the other options if you need a crit, and that goes for any of the 5-star crit weapons as well. Obviously the other 5-star crit weapons are a little bit better than the deathmatch, but they kind of go with the Wavebreaker's Fin, the Homa, all of those. They can be good depending on the situation. Favonius Lance also, I guess, can be okay if you are playing some national team as a way to give your party more ER, and you already have the catch on Xiangling. I guess that is an option, since she'll maybe proc more Favonius than Xiangling because she's on field. Not what I would do, but I think it technically can be a good option. Not what I would do, but technically can be a good option. Now, moving into the real meat and potatoes of this video, I tested 42 teams. This whole document will be available in screenshot form on Tactor, which is a channel partner here, so you'll be able to check out a written version of this guide, which is awesome, something that you can refer back to, as well as getting a great visual as to teams that you can try out. Try not to take the team exact rankings too seriously, and more treat them relative to each other, and your mileage may vary. Your own build, your own things may make these better or worse. So first things first, Shiver's teams. Now, I think if I were to give the overall best Raiden team, I would say it's probably this one, assuming you can stay in Bennett's circle the whole time. If you can't stay in Bennett's circle, then swapping Bennett out for Kujosara, Yaniko, Fischl, something like that is better. But if you're able to stay in Bennett's circle, then this one's the best. One annoying thing you'll notice is if you're playing your rotations really tight, Raiden's cooldown is 18 seconds, and Xiangling's cooldown is actually 20 seconds. So if you're playing really well, then you're actually losing a decent bit of damage from Xiangling extending your rotations. This problem is even worse when you're playing with Yaniko. Yaniko would be such a cool partner and good partner for Raiden if the cooldown for her burst was just 18 seconds instead of 22 seconds. Kind of feels like this might be Raiden Constellation 6 bait, which is just so sad to even think about. I would give my left pinky finger to reduce 22 seconds to 18 on Yaniko so they could actually be properly used together. Really, really frustrating that they can't. Even Kujosara has a 20-second long cooldown. So if you're using her, yeah, so it's like you might as well use all their bursts if you're using Kujosara on the team. But yeah, just some thoughts, just my frustration. It's okay. Team's still good. It's just that so many units these days are so much more flexible. Chevres only 15-second cooldown, and her buff is essentially unlimited. And Bennett also with a 15-second cooldown. So if we can get Mavuika to actually have a less than 15-second cooldown, and she can fit comfortably on this team, she actually should be a sizable upgrade for this team versus Xiangling. Should bring Raiden's overall value compared to other DPSs up a little bit, both from just hopefully having an upgraded character as well as the cooldown synergizing better with Raiden's kit. But that's pretty noodly. Let's focus on the actual team. So this team, what I like about it is good power. It's insane in multi-wave. It has the circle impact issue that Bennett has, and so Yaniko is often my go-to, mostly for lore reasons, but also I like the burst wave damage. It's very good in multi-wave, but it does lose a little bit on overall damage. If you can kill something in one rotation, awesome damage, one of the best. If you can't, then it really kind of falls off. Similarly, the Kujosara variant, it has a bit better extended like multi-rotation damage, but if you just barely don't kill an enemy, you have no sub DPS that doesn't take energy. So unlike Yaniko, who can just finish off enemies if they have a little bit of HP with her skill or normal attack, along with Raiden's skill and Xiangling's skill and Chevres, with Kujosara, either you kill them in that burst duration or you don't, or you have to start a new rotation, and it can make things more awkward. But technically, you can squeeze out more damage overall by using this setup. You can technically get the most damage by using Bennett on this team, and if you're just giga buffing Raiden, you have no sub DPS at all. What you do have to do if you're going to do this is do your usual rotation, so Raiden's skill, Chevres burst and skill, Bennett skill and burst, then Kujosara skill and burst, and then when you go into Raiden before you launch her burst, you want to do a normal attack that's pyro infused from Bennett C6 to refresh the overload so that you can get an overload. Otherwise, you have no off-field overload. Chevres doesn't have off-field pyro applications, so you either need an off-field or on-field pyro. And so yeah, the disadvantage that this team has is it actually is pretty bad in multi-wave, because if you start attacking a new wave, well, you have no way to trigger an overload because no one's applying off-field pyro. If it weren't for that, this team is her technically most damaging team, but it's really low on the quality of life department compared to all the other teams. So you actually should be putting great power, but with maybe an Astra or something. Now you can